The Niners were quiet at the trade deadline. Who cares? We are here. We are here. It's your boy, the coach. Welcome back to the Coach's Huddle, where the field meets family. And we are back with another regularly scheduled program of the Neutral Zone. I got my man, Chunder Boy, with me. We are here to talk about a lot of topics. We're going to get straight to it because we know exactly what we want to talk about, which is obviously the trade deadline, which just closed out at 4 p.m. today. And before we get into it, Chunder Boy, how are you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Mid-season, it is eggnog season, so I am always blissful this time of year. But other than that, the 49ers are on a good pace to at least make the playoffs this year and at least have you never know what can happen once you get there. Nobody expects them to do anything, but you just never know.
Yeah, man. Look. Let's just get straight to it. The San Francisco 49ers are 6-3. We have incurred remarkable amount of injuries, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that a lot of guys are done for the year. Some guys are coming back. Notably, Bryce Huff is coming back, but it seems as though we get one step forward, we go two steps back. Bryce Huff is back, but, Yatir Gross-Matos is down now, which we seem as though that he was back off injury and he's gone. We seem as though we get through a great win versus the New York Giants, and right at the end, Quinnen Williams goes down with the ACL, a season-ending ACL injury. Khalil Davis has been down, and we just got him back. At one point, it seemed as though that we were going to have some depth coming back with the addition of Keon White and Cleveland Ferrell. But the biggest thing is that I feel as though with going into two divisional games coming up with the Rams and the Cardinals coming back to back, and the Niners seem to be holding on, man. We're fighting, bro. We are fighting. And I understand. I just want to empathize first before I give my take. But I understand that the Niners have put themselves in a position where if they want to add more players for what they've done thus far in the season, they are well within their right to add more, right?
Yep.
And just yesterday, I had even backed the Niners swinging big to go get somebody. So I was even on that train if that's exactly what they wanted to do. We didn't get any of that. It all fell short. It did seem as though that we were in on a couple of players. There were reports that definitely the edge from the New York Giants, I believe 4-year player, Jermaine Johnson was somebody who was us, and I believe the Bears were very hard up to try to get this guy, but the asking price seemed to be a second-round pick, and nobody offered a second-round pick for this guy. We saw Quinnen Williams from the Jets go. Sauce Gardner got traded. He went from the Jets. There was an edge that the Bears picked up for about, I believe, a 6th-round pick and a 7th-round swap that they picked up. But all in all, I spent a lot of the trade deadline on Twitter.
Yes,
right.
You did.
And it was awesome. It was a hell of a ride, bro.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a ride. It was awesome. Twitter
in it.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, Twitter's a cesspool, but sometimes, sometimes it's just sweet, man. It like the trade deadline atmosphere was dope. I think
it's sleazy entertainment, man. It's sleazy entertainment.
Oh yes, it's exactly where I want to be. But I think what kicked it all off was Sauce Gardner getting traded. That kind of woke everybody up to like the last 4 hours, basically, of the trade deadline.
Oh yeah.
But tons of reports, tons of innuendo and rumors. But I believe I gotta say the overall tenor, in my opinion, of the Niners not doing anything or acquiring anybody at the trade deadline was people were overall pissed off, or not at very least disappointed. I saw comments that this was weak. The Niners should have been matching the same fervor to get Quinnen Williams that the Cowboys did, which was a first-round pick, by the way. The Niners are not serious about buying in. This was this is a white flag. The Niners are waving the white flag on the season. There was a lot. And I got to give it to my content creators. They got their pound of flesh.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
They sensationalized it. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
But I've actually been in football, man. And bro, when you're 6-3 with what we have gone through, forget that, what they have gone through, it's been watching.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. We've been giving them support. We've been cheering, hooping, hollering,
and then running our mouth.
We've been running our mouth. Let's just keep it. Come on, man. Let's keep it a buck, Chuck. All right. And for me, there is a respect to the game that when you see somebody working and they are busting their ass, if you're not helping, the least you can do is shut the fuck up. That's the least you can do. Yep. If you ain't gonna lift a finger and actually sweat, bleed, or put forth an injury, or get your ribs broken, or get your knee contused, or have your turf toe, or end your seat, if you ain't gonna do all that, if these dudes feel like, hey man, we're standing pat with what we got because we're not gonna leverage our future from where we are right now, I could see all of the opinions if we were losing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, if we were losing, it's open season. You guys get paid millions of dollars. You're not performing. So, yes, you're going to hear me. I'm going to say all of the things, right? I'm going to give all of the scenarios, all of my Monday morning quarterback, scenario. I'm going to do all of that. Yep. But they're winning. They're winning producing.
Despite the injuries, too.
That's got to count for something.
Yeah.
If they're going out there and they're saying like, hey man, we're not going to leverage ourselves right now with what we're doing just to bring a guy in here, I got to trust that any deal that would have gotten done, ultimately it would have been an impulse buy, bro. It would, and we would have been lying to ourselves about the one guy we got on how much that makes us better. Man, we ain't going to no Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Stop.
Not without a lot of help.
What was Quinnen Williams going to do with what we got going on right now? Honestly, he would help.
Oh, yeah.
But is that fixing everything?
No.
Is that the elixir?
The one thing I would say with the Quinnen Williams is he would be the kind of player that would help you win a game or two in the playoffs. Interior pressure on quarterbacks in the playoffs. That one interior pressure, and the quarterback gets that pressure. He lets the ball go early. Now the ball's like that is the kind of player that can flip a game in a one-game elimination playoff tournament. So that's the only area where I'd say Quinnen Williams actually could have been a season-changing player.
I literally texted Grant that on the phone, bro.
Really?
We were going back and forth. I talked about Jermaine Johnson, I talked about Bradley Chubb, and I talked about Quinnen Williams. And my exact words for Quinnen Williams were, he's a player away type of guy.
Yeah.
We're not a player away, right? Yeah. Quinnen Williams is what you do when in 2023.
Yep.
When you're loaded and you got, if there was a way to make it work, and the Niners say, you know what, forget that. This guy's worth it. There's no, remember the logic when we were like loaded. The logic used to be, well, the picks don't really matter because there's no rookie that's honestly going to make our team and contribute.
Yeah.
Remember that logic?
Yeah.
Like,
the guy that you get's not going to be better than the guy you traded for. At least the guy you're trading for is going to play.
Exactly. Right. And that used to be the logic. That ain't where we're at right now.
No.
That's not where we're at. So, for me, I get it. Quinnen Williams he's a foundational piece. He's a set it and forget it guy. I get it. You put him down there. We literally are not we're not touching 3 technique for at least another 5 to 6 years. That's it. Right. But that doesn't solve all of the issues that we have foundationally. Right. And then also, it's kind of ghetto. I'm sorry. There are teams that are classy. There are teams that do good business. All right. They stick to the edicts of their morals that have pushed them forward. And that's just how they roll. Then there are teams where you're going to catch their ass at the swap meet. You're going to catch them at the Benz dealership when they ain't paid their rent. Okay. It's ghetto, bro. It's bad. That's what shitty franchises do. They go out there and go get the big name just because they got a little bit of a blip on their season, and they're going to lie to their fan base as if this is really going to move the needle. Bringing in anybody that would set us back with what really is the reason why, this is the irony of it all. The reason why we even have a position where we feel like we need people is because of what we would give up to get the one person that we think we would get, which is not going to help us. We need multiple people. And the way you get multiple people is with what? Draft picks. But what would you do if you go into free agency and you start going to get players that you think are going to help you just because you have a 6-3 season? You're giving up your draft. The problem with us is that we do not have youth. We're trying to get younger. Yeah. We're trying to get cheaper. That's what this entire season was about. Okay. Yep. And honestly, if we have to give up, I think we have a first, a second, a third, 4 fourths. We don't have a 5th. We have a 6th and a 7th. Bro, I want to keep those 4th round picks. Right. And don't look now, but this is just the first round of what we're going to really see in a much more clearer free agency market after the season, before the draft. Right. Okay. So I'd much rather go into that market with a full bevy of picks, knowing what we're probably going to do with Juwan Jennings, knowing what we're probably going to do with Brandon Ayuk, going into that situation with the draft at our back, then being mid-season, giving up draft picks, and then yet again, still screwing ourselves, because then that'll break the streak. What we need in order for us to supplant the 3 draft picks, the 3 first-round picks that we shit the bed off with Trey, is we need 3 full drafts back. We've only had 2.
Yeah.
So this draft would be the 3rd full draft to bring in all of those young draft picks
to replenish the heart of your roster.
To replenish the roster, okay? And you don't get that if you screw it up mid-season because you got hype off of a 6-3 season with the 17th strongest schedule in the league right now. And we started with the 32nd strongest.
As I say, it's wild how it went from 32 to 17 real fast.
Yeah, it's just the facts. But all I'm saying is, like, be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. Don't get lost.
The Quinnen Williams one, that's the one trade where I would push back a little, because there's some factors with that one specifically. So if you're talking, okay, so a perfect example of a team being 1 player away is what the Colts did in adding Sauce Gardner. They have a complete offense. They have some really good pieces on their defense, especially up front. But their secondary is not very good. They have like 1 good secondary player.
Mooney.
Bringing in a guy like Sauce Gardner gives you legitimate championship aspirations this season. That's you're 1 player away type move. That's a great move for them.
Yeah.
Now, with Quinnen Williams, the only reason I think that it could have been a good trade if the 49ers had given up what the Cowboys did, which is one of our defensive tackles, probably Kalia Davis, and a second this year and a first the year after that. So one thing you're getting is if you do get into the playoffs, Quinnen Williams is the kind of player that can win a game for you with a special play. So there's that factor. But I'm looking at next year because Quinnen Williams is already paid. And the Jets have already paid all the prorated bonus and all that stuff. So he's not going to be as expensive as a player of his caliber usually is. So you're getting Nick Bosa at some point mid-season next year, once some of these guys get healthy. You've got Nick Bosa, Bryce Huff, Mikael Williams, the guy we're talking, Quinnen Williams, Alfred Collins, probably an improved CJ West. You have the best defensive line in modern football history with that one player. So this season, he could make a huge impact. And next season, he gives you that piece in the middle that you've been missing since DeForest Buckner walked out the door. Your defensive line hasn't been the same since. So the thing about this is he's the one player with all of these trades that have happened. He's the one player where if the 49ers would have made that deal, it would have made me really happy. I don't think there was another trade that happened where I would have been like, yeah, I really wish the 49ers would have made that trade. Even the Sauce Gardner trade. The 49ers are not in a situation where if they give up 2 first-round picks for that player, it's not that he's not worth it. We're just not in a situation where that has enough of an impact on our franchise to be worth the two premium players that we're giving up on rookie contracts.
Yeah, he is paid for 2027. Yeah. He counts 25. No. Well, next year he still counts for 21-7 against the cap next year.
Yeah, but for a player of his caliber, top 3, top 4 defensive tackle in the league, at low 20s for that guy, and you can restructure his contract and get that. You can make that number anything you want.
Hold on, when was he born?
I think he's 26.
Nah, see, that's it. No, he's 20. He's 28.
Is he that old?
Yes.
He came in the league same time as Nick Bosa. So
that's what I'm saying, dude. He got drafted in 19.
I thought he was younger than that.
Nah, man. So he'll be 29. He'll be 30 in 2 years.
That changes it a little bit. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, bro. No, like go. Honestly, you got to go the hard way. And I get it. Getting ready-made players is awesome, especially when you're trying to plug them into something that's already there. So honestly, you're paying for a guy to fill a role. You know what I mean? You're not necessarily paying for a guy to, be at every technique up or down the line of scrimmage. That's not why you get a guy like that. And that's how he was used with the Jets because they were bad. But I'll tell you this, man. There's nothing like going to go get an Alfred Collins. Like, go draft a guy. Yeah. Go get a guy,
And there's a chance Alfred Collins next year, if he continues on his current trajectory and has a good offseason, is on the same caliber as a Quinnen Williams next season.
Thank you. And I agree
not where Quinnen Williams was at 25, maybe, but he'll be at the same level as Quinnen Williams next year. There's something in the comments that I'd like to address. There's a couple of comments in here talking about how we're talking about the 49ers hanging on to premium picks as if the 49ers are actually good. There we go. As if the 49ers are actually good at drafting. Any organization that doesn't expect to do their job correctly and draft according to their values and things of that nature, fire all of them. If you have to operate assuming that you know what the fuck you're doing and you're going to make good draft picks and develop good football players. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not mad at you,
No disrespect to no disrespect to Mr. Big. Yeah.
Yeah, stop. You stop calling him Mr. Big, man. Say the whole name. That's what it's Jesus Christ.
I was trying to. Mr. Big Train 49er.
Relax, man. Look. I hear what you're saying. Have there been missteps? Yes. But one thing that I will say is that they actually were drafting bad when we were at our best, because I felt like they were not drafting in the spirit of what you're supposed to be drafting for, which is you're supposed to be drafting to bring in youth development. You're supposed to be drafting guys that can help you and to push and have competition. The Niners were literally drafting on a supplementary basis, meaning that they were shopping. Like, we need a slot that can run this route for us and take the top off for us to be able to fixture in the offense, right? That's where, what's that kid that we got from SMU? The fast receiver that never did anything. Danny Gray. That's where Danny Gray comes from.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's where, like, Brock's elbow got hurt. That's where Cam Latu comes from. You know what I mean? Like, we can't necessarily run on the inside.
Short yardage. That's how you get a Tyrion Davis-Price in the third round.
That's where a TDP comes from, because we can't. We've got everything else. We just need a short yardage back. And what happens is that you hone in on a skill set and you ignore all of the red flags.
Hello, Money Moody. Money Moody. How else do you draft a kicker in the third round? If that's not your mentality, how else do you fucking kick? Sorry.
Nah, man. Come on, man.
It still bothers me.
Yeah. If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
It's just such a bad process to pick a kicker in the third round.
Yeah.
It's such a bad process.
So it's like, what's crazy about it is that, Pern, this is a hilarious comment. We need to draft nurses, doctors, surgeons, the whole fucking hospital. Dog. But that's
he's
where
not wrong.
He's not. But that's where a lot of like our bullshit drafts come from, quite honestly. This year's draft and drafts in the past where we've traditionally drafted for guys that they can forecast in the scheme, right? Guys that show the traits, that can be able to cover more than just one aspect of football. They can actually do things, multiple things, and they can build upon that skill set and they can develop them. The Niners do phenomenal at that. I mean, it's kind of hard, or I do think it's a little funny to say that we traditionally don't draft well, but some of the best players that we have on our team are drafted. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, make it make sense, So for me, like, even the Broccolites drafted, it is what it is. All right. Fred Warner drafted. George Kittle drafted. Say what you want. These boys were drafted.
Even these supplemental offensive linemen that were sticking in here, Burford and McKivitz and these guys that are
Pooney,
that are like mainstays that are getting the job done. They might not be like but those are the guys you draft in the third and fourth and fifth round. They're the heart and soul of an NFL roster.
Yeah. So look, I get it. There's definite holes, but I feel like a lot of what we've seen in the drafts, we've seen it right away. To be honest, like, come on. Like, when Ricky Pearsall got drafted, I'm not picking on him, but the facts are is that a lot of us felt like that was a reach.
Yeah.
And the reason why that was a reach is that Pooney was brought in because there was already going to be a decision made with Brandon Ayuk and or Debo. And they knew that the middle ground of whatever they were going to do with both of them was Ricky Pearsall, right?
Yeah.
So, like, come on, man. And when you look at things like that, it's easy to like pick them apart. And then we already know that Kyle has his customary third round bust, right? Whoever he picks at third round, right?
It's insane. It's wild, the track record of third round busts.
Bro, so all I'm saying is...
Have we ever picked a player in the third round who has gotten onto a second contract? I'm sure we have, but the fact that neither of us can think of one off the top of our head, like, it tells you what you need to know.
Yeah.
Because third round guys are guys that fill out the middle of your roster. You might not be expecting them to be superstars, but the guys that you're drafting in the top 100, you expect to play for your football team and start.
Yeah, for sure. Right. But also one thing that I know that
Jesus. Thank you, CJ. Warner was a third round pick.
Warner was a third round pick. Yeah, we're wilding.
We're wild.
But one thing, and he's one exception. But But one thing I will say is that sticking on Fred in a nice segue is that we do a phenomenal job of developing certain positions, specifically
That's right.
linebacker. You know what I mean? So I will say this: one thing that does carry over from regime to regime is the developmental staff. Like, we keep those guys, and I believe in I love how our developmental staff finds guys, especially from the inside out, getting local guys in. They do a really good job at finding a specific type of lineman for D-line. I honestly believe that there's a little bit of an internal war on what our developmental staff would bring in for offensive line versus what Kyle has delineated that he wants brought in here. I think that if they did it their way, we'd be getting back to the Upati days, the Brown days. I think we'd be getting back to like the traditional offensive lineman days if our developmental staff could really pick who they wanted us to get, and also prioritize who they want us to get. I believe that we will be seeing a lot more offensive lineman picks a lot earlier, with traditional style guys who actually can whoop ass. So to bring the point home, picks are the name of the game.
Totally correct.
Because you have to be able to intelligently design your team, and you can't always go at your purse strings every time you want to do that. And that's what free agency does. That's what the trade deadline does. And I feel like we've been live bodies. Honestly, we've been game when it comes to the last 5 years. Basically, we've always had a fun time midseason, bringing in CMC, Charles Omenihu, you name it. Like, we are the team that we've kind of been like the thing to talk about, but it's okay. FOMO's real. That's all it is. Just a little bit of FOMO.
And it really started all the way back in that first season in 2017. People forget that Jimmy Garoppolo was an in-season trade. That was a blockbuster, massive in-season trade.
Yeah. And if you really want to talk about the guys that they brought in, like, what you're really disappointed in is what you thought that they should have done today, not what you think they've done for the duration of the season.
Totally correct.
All right. A lot of people are forgetting the fact that Bryce Huff was traded for. Okay. A lot of people are forgetting the fact that we brought in Keon White. All right. Cleveland Farrell is here. They've brought in guys. I think that a lot of the ire that is for the 49ers with their lack of activity is what happened today, right? Like, you didn't close out something today. And on top of it is that there was a fire sale in New York, and everybody seemed to be kind of like game, but not for a second round pick. No,
second and a first.
Yeah. And then on top of it, we can't sit here and try to go get a pass rusher when we just spent the first half of our fucking draft on defensive guys. Okay. Our first round pick was a pass rusher. Our second round pick was a defensive run stopper. Then we got another guy, CJ West. Then we traded for an edge rusher, 2 edge rushers. Okay.
And now you're going to use 2 future picks on another
edge rusher. And we still got fucking O-line to worry about coming in the offseason.
So I have a question about the O-line, because the 49ers have a clear track record of not prioritizing the offensive line in the draft process. At all the last couple of years. But in the draft specifically, they don't take offensive line early. And they've even explained their philosophy on that, on why they don't really do that. My question is this. They've spent so much over the last 2 years filling out certain areas, both skill positions, which we know they like to draft high, and defensive line, which we know they like to draft high. Are the 49ers kind of forced into a situation this offseason where you have young guys you need to develop, you have skill position guys you like that need to develop? Are they finally going to be able to actually draft some offensive linemen high because they don't feel like they have holes in other places where they prefer to pick other players?
I think that they have invested so much in the defensive line, and they just first of all, let's just talk about the shit luck that they've had with injuries. All right. We started out the season with 12 defensive linemen, dude. At one point in the season, we were all the way down to 6. All right. We had lost 7. All right. So, I mean, we had lost 6. So, for me, I believe that you don't keep, like, when you get a guy and he needs to get healthy, you get him healthy. Now, there are some guys that you're going to have to switch out that can't stay healthy, like a Yetur Gross-Matos. Like,
yes.
He just can't stay healthy.
Dude. I love that.
Me too. In theory.
He's so good when he actually puts if he plays 2 or 3 games in a row, he starts to make a real impact. The dude can't play 4 games in a row.
No, he cannot.
It's wild.
And I understand why we got him now, because when you see him in his pads, you see him playing, you see him hot, you see him like so in his element. You kind of feel like, golly, we got a guy. He just can't stay healthy. So, look, from that standpoint, you are going to have to go out and replenish the defensive line, but I feel like you have to do it intelligently. What we have to lead with, as far as assets are concerned, you got to go get linemen, man. You got to go get linemen. You've got to go get a left guard. You have to go get a center. At the very least, you got to get a new center. You got to go get a left guard. You paid McKivitz. I get it. Whatever. That's your deal. You're going to make Trent finish out his money. All right. But at the very least, you have to get a center and you have to get a left guard. I'm under the impression that we're going to be okay at right guard because we're forgetting the fact that Dominic Puni is playing injured. All right, so let's not forget that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's played better. The last 2 games, he's played better.
Yeah. As far as because we've been running power. You've been allowing him to go straight forward instead of using that knee, running left and right and laterally. Like, hello, he's over 300 pounds.
With a knee problem. Yeah.
Maybe you just want to let him go forward. But I don't know. I don't know. Angles and things. Math sucks.
What do you know about offensive line?
What do we know? What do we know? But they've got to handle left guard. They got to handle center. I think you can get that done in the draft. We've got 4 fourth-round picks coming up. I'm happy about that. I really don't think it was that big of a deal. It was cool to be on the sidelines. If we would have got Jermaine Johnson, maybe for a 4th, 2 4s. But I don't want to give up a 3rd-round pick for that. Like a 3rd and a 4th, maybe a 4th and a player. But I'm not giving up no 2nd-round pick for that dude. He just tore his Achilles in 2024.
Yeah.
He's played 7 games. He's got 1 sack. Like
we have 3 of those guys already.
Come on, man. When we got Keon White, I was like, we already got Keon. We already have that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My big thing is, you keep your 2nd, your 3rd-round picks. You can look, Gojira Von Jinks just said it. 2nd and 3rd round for center and offensive guard. You keep your 2nd and 3rd round pick, you could get a great center, phenomenal guard, and forget about it.
You could go get Jackson Powers Johnson or
Jackson Powers Johnson. Yep.
Is that his? Okay, I thought I was getting.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, you could go get him and just trade a 6th and go get him. But
I mean, I wouldn't have been mad at that. I would
have loved it if they would have went and robbed him from the Raiders.
Well, first of all, I don't think that the Raiders would ever do business with us in that capacity to help us that way. That's one.
Brady's in the building now. Maybe we can. Maybe
all right,
This
may be a career. It would be a armor. Yeah. But yeah, I would have been thrilled
over the moon, but you would have been going crazy. My phone would have gotten blown up so bad.
I'd have took off for work. I'd have took off work. I'd have emailed my boss, right? My boss watches my stuff. Hey, I would have emailed you, all right, and been like, hey, man, something came up. No can do for the rest of the day. Right? Because that would have meant so much, a whole shift. But, players like that aren't available midseason. So that would have been, for me, almost like us acquiring Trent Williams the way we did. That was a little bit of a coup. How we just got him. That was wild. How Washington was all but like in a fire cell. Things, the ceiling was falling through.
Oh, yeah.
And they just had to let him go. But so for me,
the only reason we got him so cheap is because he was literally coming off of a cancer scare. Yeah. Literally the worst possible diagnosis a human can get for the most part.
Right. And then honestly, this too. Bengals wanted a fifth for Hendrickson. Like, what are you? Come on, man. What are you on? Meth? Like, stop. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
That's trifling. That's what whack teams do, bro.
That's right.
They spend a first round pick on a 30-year-old player. Like, I like Quinnen Williams. All right. But
I thought he was younger. That I was more interested if he was 26. At 28, going on 29, I'm much more comfortable with the 49ers not getting involved in that trade.
And newsflash, I hate to put it this way, but the Cowboys stopping the run is not their issue. They can't cover nobody. That's their problem.
They have the most overrated secondary for the last several years.
Right.
They had a dude go out and get like 7 picks, and everybody just ignored the fact that he got burned for 12 touchdowns that season. I think it was 12 touchdowns the dude gave up.
Bro, that is almost kind of like the irony of all of this, right? Is that sometimes you can get sucked into like the game within the game, right? It's almost like what it happens to us with draft every year, where we get so sucked into the worth of what these players are on this stupid ass board, right? And where they belong. And this guy's a first round pick, and this guy's a second round pick, but this guy's a steal. And we're forgetting the fact that all of that shit ceases to exist the moment you acquire the guy. It's like driving a car off the lot.
Totally correct.
Okay, the moment you get him, that draft pick shit is out the window, and it's all about them producing. And nobody cares about where you got the guy as long as he's giving out his desired function. It's the same thing in free agency, where right now in the market, of course, Quinnen Williams is going to be a sexy get. Right? Of course, Jermaine Johnson for a second round pick is going to be something that's phenomenal. Let's finish out the rest of the season and watch. And if Jermaine Johnson finishes out with only 1 to 2 sacks and he goes right back on free agency market, you can get him for a 4th.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the season and what he didn't do is going to say, but at the time, in the market, in the now, we just had to have him, and we gave up a second round pick for the guy, and he could have Chase Young'd us.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
That one still hurts. I was so over the moon when we got Chase Young, bro. I was like, oh my God, it's about to be over for everybody. I hadn't watched him play much. I got bamboozled.
Come on, son. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying is that, you know, there's kind of like a fantasy football energy inside of all of these pockets of the season.
Yeah.
Free agency, trade deadlines, you know, like playoffs. Then you have, you know, divisional match. And I get it. We all want to game up every system. Everybody wants to be an expert inside of the bubble before it bursts. But just while you're in the bubble, just realize that it's a bubble. All right. You got to keep the main thing the main thing. So I'm thrilled that for what I was hearing as far as asking prices are concerned, hell nah. I ain't want no Jermaine Johnson. Hell nah. No way.
I'm glad the 49ers were extremely active in this trade market, and I'm equally as glad that they didn't make any of these trades.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get to some super chats. We got a couple. Too Much Sauce says you can't fake 6-3. You can't fake it, dog.
You are what your record says you are, baby.
Sports is a very short menu. All right. It's wins and losses, and perfect ain't on it. All right. Let's go. $10 Daza. Thanks, dog. At first, I was disappointed not getting anyone, but with how we seemingly have a year-ending injury every week and an awful offensive line, what trade would have really helped? Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, come on. What like for all we know, God forbid, but for the luck that we have right now, we could have got Quinnen Williams and he wouldn't even have made it off the bus.
Tore his Achilles stepping off the bus.
This just in. Quinnen Williams goes out to look at the Bay Bridge, trips off, falls into Alcatraz. We have a search party looking for him. He's on IR.
Jesus,
like, come on.
That escalated in a hurry.
Like, bro, we're like the final destination of the NFL, bro. Anybody can get it. We got another super chat. 11th House of Zenith 30. Thank you. Is it against the 49ers philosophy to be sellers?
No. But they would have to be in a situation where selling off pieces makes sense to them long term. They're not going to do it just because they might try to get a guy out of the building that's disgruntled or something, maybe. But the 49ers always operate on a 3-year timeline. So if it's not a guy that they don't think is going to help them next year or the year after, that's the only time they would sell a guy.
Agreed. Dazzler again, if instead of paying Brock, they got a right tackle, got Drew Dahlman instead of paying Juice and Farrell, drafted a left guard, and Fred and BA are healthy, this is a Super Bowl contending team. That's a lot of ifs and fifths, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ifs, Dazzler.
If I had a fifth, we'd both be drunk, brother.
Come on, man. TVU, thank you. How much did we miss Chase Young's presence on defense?
Not one bit, actually.
Doing a lot of joking, man. Hey, so let's go on with the next topic. We've baked this one. Life without Quinnen Williams. So look, Quinnen goes down. I actually feel like I jinxed it, bro. Because I
definitely did.
Did you see
You definitely did.
You saw the tweet I put out?
Yeah.
Did you see that? I'm being honest. I gotta put it out, bro.
I think I jinxed it. You 100% jinxed it.
Well, I saw some other people that jinxed it as well. So just give me a break.
Yeah, we got too many people. We got enough bad juju. We don't need y'all putting that shit out into the cosmos, all right?
I'm gonna read it out loud, bro. It was it was so bad. When did I say? All right, here we go. This one feels good. Just handling business, making things look routine. Nothing is perfect, but getting out of here without any big injuries is a welcome change of pace from the norm. That was at 3:42 p.m. At 3:44, I posted under my own tweet, "What the fuck?"
Correct.
Bro, we can't have anything nice, man.
You can't wait to the end of the game to post that?
The irony didn't even strike me that we were at the Meadowlands. I was saying to myself, like, you dumbass, what is wrong with you? Like, son, oh my God. I was sitting in the couch watching this in the living room, and I was just like, bro, you're a dummy. You're a fucking dummy. For what it's worth, Quinnen Williams is done for the season. What do we do?
Nothing changes. I don't think so. The only thing is somebody's going to have to fill the hole of him setting the edge, because that's the one thing he really has elevated for the 49ers this year. But the guy that we just brought in Keon White is probably very similar as far as his ability in with stunting and going to the inside and rushing from the inside. We have other guys who rush well from the inside. I don't think this is one of those situations where he leaves a big hole to fill. The one area that I'm really concerned about is his ability to set the edge, because the dude is a brick wall on the edge most of the time. And that's going to be, I'm curious to see if we have anybody who can hold the edge.
Well, the job skill set of one Keon White has just been expanded.
Correct.
So it's my understanding that Keon White was brought here as an interior contributor. Like they really love his interior pass rush, particularly, and he's a really, really good willing contributor in the run game. However, He can play the edge. He's got the length. I mean, I think that him and Michael Williams, I don't want to say they're carbon copy, but
they're one and the same.
They have the same traits.
Yeah,
they have the same traits
physically.
Yeah. And one thing that I will say is that we also got somebody who definitely knows his defense in Cleveland Farrell. Do not sleep on Cleveland Farrell, my man. I'm telling you, having Cleveland Farrell is a sneaky get for the 49ers because you have somebody else who understands that defense. He's a plug-and-play guy. He knows the tempo. He also can give you a little bit of an uptick on just the veracity of the pass rush. Pass rush is almost kind of like the run game. Thank you. The pass rush, in a sense, is kind of like the run game in that it's a labor of love. You're never going to get sacks unless you try. And every time you try, you're never going to get sacks. You're not going to get sacks all the time. Mm-hmm. So what you have to do is that you have to increase your work rate to a point where what you could do is start working on that offensive line where it's not necessarily talent that gets you back there, but it's just motor. Like you said, it's tempo, it's veracity, it's relentlessness. All right. And I'll tell you, it's a shame that Michael Williams has gone down because he definitely gets double teamed a lot. He also is one of the leaders within the rookie pass rushers right now as far as QB pressures is concerned. So it's going to be a shame to see him go.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest. It's like, dude, we're like Jason. We just can't die, bro. Because I will say there is an app for that. Those bringing in Keon White and Cleveland Farrell was big. And then don't look now, but we're getting Bryce Huff back.
Yep.
So look, I'll tell you this. I like where we stand as far as the defensive line. We're not perfect. We're not perfect. But we do have the bodies and we do have more depth. We have more depth than we did before.
Definitely. The frustrating thing is what we brought in was depth. So you have Bryce Huff coming back and you have Michael Williams. So you have these really good tandem starters, and then you can rotate in these depth. Well, now the depth have to be the starters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that's when your team starts to really not perform well, because you don't just make it so your starters are not as good. Now your depth is not as good either, because depth guys are the guys you're getting off the practice squad now. Did you freeze, buddy? I might have to take the show over myself here. At the end of the day, the thing that's really disheartening about this season is everything that we've accomplished has been in spite of all of these injuries. However, what would this season have been if the injuries had not occurred? But at the same time, while you're kind of thinking about that hypothetical, it's important to recognize that the 49ers are continuing to play good football, not because they have exceptional talent, but because they're playing good fundamental football in so many situations. I do think that the way that they were forced to draft this offseason and forced to draft guys that they thought could play right away, as Coach was alluding to earlier, which is in opposition to the way they've drafted the last several years, which is where their mindset was not, can we find a guy who can play now? Their mindset was, you're not drafting somebody in the fourth round who can play, so let's find a guy who can fill a role. And when you're looking for that guy instead, that's how you miss out on a third or fourth or fifth round gem, and that's how you end up with those kind of picks. So moving on, when Michael comes back, the thing that bothers me the most maybe about this is it sucks for this season because the 49ers are 6-3. The 49ers are going to make the playoffs. However, this is not the kind of injury where he'll be back at the beginning of next season. We probably lost him for the beginning of next season too, like the whole first half of next season. This is probably a one-year injury, and it's unlikely he'll really return to athletic form to the end of next season. So we may not see the real Michael Williams until the playoffs next season if we make the playoffs. So that's the part that's really disheartening the most for me. I hope Coach is coming back here soon, but I'll keep going for a little while longer, I suppose. So at the end of the day, what we have to keep in mind is the 49ers still have a lot to look forward to this season. Not only are they coming into the weakest part of their season, although there are teams like the Bears and like the Colts that a lot of people thought were not going to be a tall task when we saw the schedule come out. Now it looks like those teams are going to be really tough outs, with the Colts being clearly a better football team this year. If we get ourselves into the playoffs, we have a chance to really make a run. Not because of anything we're doing. It's just the way the playoffs are weird. You just need a ball to bounce your way here or there. You just need a tipped pass to not get intercepted or get intercepted, depending on what you need. But the rest of the way, if Kittle stays healthy, if McCaffrey stays healthy, okay, if the injuries just kind of stop from here, the offense has a chance to elevate to the point with McCaffrey healthy, with Kittle healthy. If we can get some continuity on the offensive line, people forget that we've been subbing out offensive line play, both center and at guard, right? I think Trent missed some time. So if we just get some continuity up front, our skill guys stay healthy, our offense can keep us afloat, and we just need our young defense to step up in key moments, and we can still win a lot of football games. So at the end of the day, all you really have to do, if you're in a situation where the 49ers are in, is win the games that you need to win. Okay, so are we going to lose a game to the Colts? Yeah, maybe. Are we going to lose a game to even maybe the Bears? We might drop some of those games that we might not have dropped otherwise if the injuries hadn't happened. But the fact is, as you go through this season, if you just win the ones that you're supposed to win, okay, the 49ers have teams like the Cardinals, right? We know we can beat the Rams. We beat them with our freaking practice squad in LA. We know we can beat Seattle, although they're not the same team that we played in week 1 of the season. At the same time, we have other teams on this schedule that were coming up that are still not good teams. I think we play Carolina. I'd have to double check. Let me bring the schedule up. There are so many things that we have ahead of us in the season where we just got to get into the dance. We just have to get into the playoffs. Now, at the end of the day, the one thing that's really critical that you have to always keep in mind is there was no expectation this season of the 49ers winning a championship, and there still shouldn't be. The 49ers are not the kind of team that should have playoff aspirations. All right, so the 49ers have coming up the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Browns, the Titans. So the next 5 games, Rams, Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, Titans. They should win all 5 of those games. Now, the Rams, that's going to be our toughest test of the 5. We absolutely should beat the Cardinals. We absolutely should beat the Panthers. The Browns, that defense gives us fits. So if our offense can score 20 points, we should win that game. The Titans, that should be a win. If you just win those games, all of a sudden you're like 10-4, 11-3 going into the final 3-game stretch of the season, and you're going to be in the playoffs. So at that point, what you're fighting for the rest of this season is to get as healthy as you can, but more than that, have an identity by the time you get there. The 49ers still don't really have a clear identity. They've won a bunch of games throwing the ball 40 times. They've won. Hey, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. So the 49ers have won a bunch of games this year throwing the ball 40 times. They've won games running the ball 40 times. They've won games keeping the other team's offense to 10, and they've won games where the other team's offense scored 24. The 49ers don't have a clear identity at this point in the season. If they want to get to the playoffs and if they want to do anything in the playoffs, they have to find an identity by the time they get there. Muted. You're muted, brother.
What would you say our identity is coming into the season?
I don't think we have one. Our only identity is play good defense.
Yeah. I was Steve-O, you got me. I was just back from my Alcatraz search.
What a callback. What a callback, Steve-O.
Gotta love it. But you're saying, so what did I miss about your identity conversation? Fill me in.
So that was just kind of the tail end of it. I was kind of talking about how the 49ers have a lot to play for this year. In the next 5 games, we have the Rams, the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Browns, and the Titans. We should win all 5 of those games. Now, that doesn't mean we will, but the Rams is the toughest out for us in that 5-game stretch. So the 49ers should be in very good position as they're coming into the end of the season and as they get to the playoffs. So the thing is not so much can we get to the playoffs. I definitely think we can, even with what we have in the roster. If Kittle stays healthy, if CMC stays healthy, if we get some continuity on the offensive line. Because remember, we've had, 7 different combinations up front already this season?
I'll tell you. Go ahead, Cook.
What's really important for us is to find that identity that we have not found yet by the time we get to the postseason, because that's the only chance that we have.
Yeah, nobody wants to see us in a one-off. Nobody wants to see us in a one-off.
That's fact.
What we've been doing, playing gritty games down to the end, finding ways to win with any version of our offense. I mean, any version of our roster, so to speak. I'm gonna tell you, the only thing that we need to be near the end, as the season comes, we've had so many variations of our team, defensively, offensively, offensive line. The center spot's been switched out. The left guard spot's been switched out. We've already been trying to figure out the tandem with the running back situation. The wide receiver group has been a virtual musical chairs. We've been in and out of what we're trying to do with edge. We've been switching out with our Mike linebackers. The tandems and trying to figure out what we're going to do with the safeties has been all over the place, especially with adding in Malik Mustafa. Then we have the emergence of Jair Brown as a dime linebacker. These things are going to help us as the season progresses if we pay attention. Because what happens is that teams that have been winning, you can get a little complacent. You can get used to the groove of how you win games. And when things shift and you're not used to it, it can happen during times of the season where you got to have it. And that's when the playoffs happen. The only thing that I want for us is exactly what Kyle said in the beginning of the season. Just get healthy. That's it. We don't need to get more guys. We don't have to go get a guy that's going to help us in the run game. We don't need to go get a receiver. We just need to get healthy. We have died so many different ways. I ain't scared of death no more.
That's right.
What else can you do? You took Fred Warner from us.
You ripped our heart out.
Once Fred is gone, all bets are off. Everybody can be hurt as far as I'm concerned. Yep. Fred is gone. So what are you talking to me about consistency? A Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams isn't going to bring Fred back.
You are never going to let me live that down.
Do you see what I'm saying, though? Do you see what I'm trying? The point that I'm trying to make is that, like, we have died so many different deaths that, bro, and we're 6-3. Why are we sitting here acting like we need to traditionally do it like everybody else? We need, we don't have a pass rush. We have to get a pass rush now. Dude, shut up. Let them win. Let them get their team together. Bro, let me fuck this mule. You hold the tail, bro. Like, relax. I got this. So it's like, that's how I feel about this team now. It's like these dudes have shown so many resilient variations of themselves. They have, and another thing, they're learning so much about what guys can do.
Yes.
You know? So, look, the best thing that could happen for the Niners and the worst thing that could happen for the rest of the league is the Niners get bodies back.
Absolutely.
That's the worst thing that could happen
out of these young players playing.
Come on.
So much for the future and actually getting tape on these guys that they can coach them up, so that they can coach them through the mistakes. This team next season with these young guys, if half of them have a second-year leap, this team will be a fucking juggernaut.
Bro, not only that, we are a fucking horrible team to prepare for. We're a new team every week.
Every week.
There's another receiver that gets hot. There's somebody else that emerges. George Kittle comes back. CMC has a bad game. Then Brian Robinson comes in. We got rookies that haven't even played. The league doesn't even know about Jordan Watkins and what he can do. We are a horrible matchup.
I'm so excited about him getting some time. God, I hope they get him on the field. The way he in that pass that he caught coming across the middle, where he caught it in tandem with the defensive back.
Yeah.
Right on the second 15,
that was
I think it was.
First catch of his career.
Yes, it was. If you go back and watch the beginning of that route, he stacked that wide receiver in 2 steps. I'm sorry. He stacked that defensive back in 2 steps off the line of scrimmage. With 4.3 speed, that dude, his ability to stack a guy immediately is insane. I hope that guy gets on the field more. Oh, and by the way, don't look now. Jordan Watkins can actually block somebody.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. We got rookies that haven't played. Can you imagine getting fresh
Jordan
bodies
James?
with what we
Jordan James?
Can you imagine getting fresh bodies with what we've been through? So that's where my headspace is at.
Yep.
Right. You know, I haven't gotten the film yet. I need to look at it. The film came late for me this week, but I'm hearing really good things about Spencer Burford at the left guard spot. Like, guys, believe in the game. You know, take your hand off the controller. Don't be a fucking dork. Everything isn't about fantasy football stats. And I'm sorry, bro. You know how I am, bro.
Yeah.
Stop it. Let them play. Leave a little bit of room for crazy. Okay. Let's actually play the game first.
Let's pretend they're human beings for just a minute.
Hello. And for me, the human element of these guys, you can't keep calling them fake. If they beat the Rams next week, you're going to feel like a dumbass if we beat the Rams for how we kicked and screamed about the trade deadline.
Yeah.
What are you going to say then if we beat the Rams? What are you going to say if we beat Arizona back to back? So look,
the same shit. They're going to say same shit.
They are. The team has earned my grace.
Yes.
They've earned my pragmatism as well as my grace.
Kyle Shanahan has earned some grace back.
Yes, he has. He's doing all in all.
You turned me to the dark side, and he doesn't like it. He is trying to pull me back to the light. He is trying to pull me back to the light.
Over my dead body. It'll never happen. But that's my biggest thing is that I think the team is trying to send us a message, which is shut the fuck up. Just cheer. We're trying our best. Obviously, you can see what we're doing right now. And really, for me, this is the turning point of the season. We've matched our win total of last season. Now let's see what we're willing to do. Now let's see. All right. So let's finish out. And I'm happy with what we got in the building. I think that we got more than enough coaches to get these guys ready. And another thing is and this is not again against my guy who we just happened to pick out his comment that represented a lot of how people were feeling.
Yeah.
But this is like the quintessential just fan. We lost a guy like Fred Warner and like Tatum Bethune, who we drafted, just steps right in and he's a welcome like, oh my God, I wonder how he got so good. Oh, well, anyway, we need a pass rusher. Right. They don't get anybody. Like, what?
That guy sure does remind me a lot of Al-Shaair. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like any other team that would lose a caliber of player of a Nick Bosa or a Fred Warner, like that's it. That's the season.
Let alone both of them.
Come on, bro.
Both of them.
Yeah, like that's it. The season's done. You know, hang it up. You know, hey, let's start looking at our draft.
What would the Rams defense have looked like if they would have lost Terrell Suggs and Ray Lewis?
Come on, man.
It would have still been good, but it wouldn't have been the best defense of all time.
Right. And you know what? The fans will be going ape shit if they had an equivalent that they drafted on the roster that they could just plug and play and get them on the field.
You would not have been able to shut them up.
So that's all I'm saying is that I look at things like that, and it's hard for me to say, like, they don't do enough. You know what I mean? Who cares about the picks? What are they going to do? They're just going to draft another Jake Moody? Like, I get that line of thinking, and I understand that. But make no mistake about it. If they were shitty at drafting, we would not be 6-3.
Yeah.
We would not be 6-3.
That's we have to, honestly, bro, we have to end the show on that, because that is a mic drop statement. If they are so bad at drafting, then why is a roster constructed of mostly of the guys that they drafted 6-3? And this is the part that's even more critical. Why is it that all the guys who have stepped in to keep this team afloat are guys they drafted?
Kalia Davis, drafted.
Tatum Bethune,
drafted. Ronaldo Green, drafted. D'Angelo Lenore,
drafted.
Malik Mustafa, drafted. Jair Brown, drafted. Dominic Pooney, drafted.
Colton McKivitz, drafted.
Spencer
Kalia
Burford,
Davis, drafted.
Spencer Burford, drafted. I mean, come on, man.
The whole team, all of the impact players are on this team outside of Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams were drafted.
Drafted, man. You know, Mac Jones wanted to draft. You know what I mean? So, so in a way, we even got Mac Jones from the dead. Came back and brought him in. We wanted to draft you, motherfucker, so you're ours.
Ironically, he's keeping the 49ers alive.
Exactly. So even the guys that we wanted to draft and we got away, they come back and they're still footing the bill. Look, that's enough. I'm speaking way too glowingly of the team. We need to get the fuck out of here. This is feeling gross. So look, hey, what do you got for the rest of the week, bro?
I trying to get back on track. Niner by the numbers tomorrow, and then I'm gonna try to start a new segment where I'm not sure if I'll be live this week, but I'm gonna start going live more often. So Friday, another video preparing for the big game we got this week against the Rams.
Hey, man, I'm preparing right now. I also got to get my guy Time on. It's a time for another faithful review. Also, we got the 4-Man Front, which is a Patreon show that we got going. We need to talk about that and get that going as well. We're going to also have news about how we're going to move forward. We already know that Ryan got a great job coaching. He's got his boys coaching with him, a high school job out there, a high school basketball team. So we're trying to get a fourth or trying to move forward.
Make sure you tell Grant that I'm a free agent. Okay. You tell Grant I'm a free agent.
I'll let the guys know. I'll let you know. All right. All right. So look, hey, this is the coach signing off. Stay low and keep your feet moving. I'll holler at you guys. Peace.